Thank you very much. And bow to you to come for the conference that is quite unusual. And thank you to Robert for setting such an incredible stage. When we had a rehearsal yesterday, I was ready to share lots of different experiences on the topic of fear. And I was like, my whole story was ready. I was just about to tell it when I learned there that we're not going to talk really about fear per se, but about failures and the fear that comes out of it. Whoa, so in a second I had to completely change the story, what I'm going to be talking about, and even worse, what happened is that I remembered at that moment a story I haven't thought about for a long time, and all the emotions came out. I mean, I was in a turmoil yesterday. In a couple of seconds before I decided maybe it's time to tell the story. So after 15 years, this is the first time I'm telling this story. And it really doesn't that much matter the names and the industry or the facts about that. What I'm going to tell you is what was really the experience that I went through and what I learned from that story. Okay? And I need a bit of your support because I had to come up with it during the nights. I didn't have much sleep, but hopefully it will crystallize in those sharp information that I'd like to share with you. I was, at that time, 34 years old. I was a young professional. The whole world was in front of me. I had a dream. I just came back from Silicon Valley, 6 years of Silicon Valley, 6 years of successful professional life there. And I came back because I wanted to create something special in Slovenia. I wanted to put Slovenia on a map. And I knew I had all the knowledge to do that because I was working on one of the most exciting projects in California at that time. The exciting thing was that whoever I talked to about that dream shared it with me, and I had a good support. So when the invitation from a particular group of investors came to actually manifest the dream, I was not thinking neither a second. I just said yes. And in 3 months, I was able to pull into the story over 60 young people who shared the dream. It's hard to really explain. I will never be able to explain the excitement and the enthusiasm and the whole atmosphere that was going on around the project. Okay, and we were working days and nights. There was no obstacles. There was just nothing would stop us, right? And we went in with an open, honest heart. There was no second thoughts. There was no second story. Yeah. And just to make the whole story shorter, at one point the phone call came, and the whole project collapsed. I was told to just back off. It was horrible. It was horrible. It was like, to me, the whole world collapsed at that moment, and I was like, what do you mean? Right? It was never meant to be that way. We were way too fast. Nobody could follow us. The owners couldn't follow us. Nobody believed that we can actually do it. Yeah? So it was the end of the dream in that phone call. So first, the dreams collapsed. The second, I was in a complete shock, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and intellectually. And things were evolving by hour, right? They were not happening by weeks or months. Even though I have to admit, when I look back, I could have sensed it, but I was not ready to because that was my dream, right? And nothing could stop the dream. So after all that confusion, I suddenly realized that was more into the story than just, okay, we're canceled, you're fired, and the whole project is off. I was actually they tried to make me responsible and guilty for the whole failure. So all of a sudden, the fear came in big way. I was scared. I was scared for myself, for my family, I was scared. Never scared so much in my life, even though I've had many different challenges in life before. And then that fear transformed into a shame because I failed. I failed my friends who joined me, I failed my colleagues, I failed my professional community, and Christ, I was 34, yeah? So, very interesting. I failed as a manager. I was very proud to be an open, because before I had a successful story, being a manager who was a modern manager, who really put everything into collaboration, into respecting everybody, putting people together to do really good things and sharing the success with everyone. So I started to doubt in every single thing I believed in. Yeah? My whole value system collapsed. My integrity, my trust, respect, honesty. I started to doubt in teamwork. I started to doubt in pretty much everything that I was building up for so many years. I invested so much into this career. I trained myself for that. I paid lots of money to get the knowledge and experiences to the point that I was at. So, in a couple of hours or days, shall we say, I realized that this was real, that it was serious, and it would be fair to say at this point that until that point I've always felt very supported by life. I trusted life incredibly. I was not afraid of anything. I used to be a professional sport person, and there was lots of situations, right, very tense. Sport was my life before, and I knew what it means to fight, but at this point I had no weapons in my pockets. How to overcome the situation. But I've always also felt connected to the worlds that I could not see or I could not really grab. They were not part of the physical world, but somehow I felt them around me all the time, and that's where I asked for help. I asked for help first, all my guides. I said, okay, you got me into this mess, you better show me the way out, right? And I asked for help my friends, physical friends in the physical world, and I submitted all my powers to them. Because I realized I just cannot do anything. I didn't know what to do. So once I submitted my powers, and I just kind of followed and obeyed everything that I was told by all this friendly world, things started to change. And the evening news was different in the morning's newspaper. And that was the turning point for me. And so we won the negotiations, and I disappeared from the public. So for the last 15 years, I've been building a new career. And I have to say, I don't think I could be happier than I am today. Right? And I'd like to share now with you what I've learned and why I'm just really now satisfied and happy in how I capitalized this, even though I probably was not so much aware about these experiences until the last couple of days, yesterday and today, when I started thinking about them. First of all, I was naive. I was very naive. And I think that from that point on, I understood that it is my duty to understand the reality and to always take a systemic point of view on whatever is happening around me, right? It's my responsibility. I was blind And the passion and desire that I had in my heart and in my mind overloaded me, and I missed the intuitive messages that were there, but I just couldn't see them because I was just too much into my dream. I also learned that not everyone wants to do good in this life. And there are private interests that many times prevail the common sense and the social interest. I've also learned that it's a responsibility of those that see beyond, and this is an invitation to all of you because I know that you all have dreams, otherwise you wouldn't be here. That it is the responsibility of those that see beyond to manifest those visions wisely. I've learned not to communicate my visions anymore, but to communicate steps and strategies that lead to that. And it worked.
Can you repeat this?
Yeah.
I think this is the main message here.
I've learned not to communicate the vision, but to communicate the steps that lead to that vision.
Okay.
I've learned also to transform fear in my mind and body, and I always now know that when fear appears in my mind and in my body, I have now tools to transform it into an action, into a constructive energy. But I also learned that the fear that comes on the intuitive channel, I have to obey, and I have to respect and listen to. I really honor this experience. It's been amazing. So many things are clear since those events. And I really love life that I have now. So I have to be thankful. Yeah? The most beautiful thing is, at the end, that I actually fulfilled my dream. Yeah? I didn't do it through the organizational structures, but I have put Slovenia on the map of the world. In the last year and a half, I've been asked to come and lecture in 9 different countries, talking about Slovenian best practices. I'm pretty proud of that. And it's not just my story, it's a story of all the people that in these 15 years I was able to inspire again, but in a very quiet way. I worked with over 6,000 people in Slovenia in the last 15 years. Not talking about customers that pay my bills, but it's a volunteering work. And we learned so much, and that's exactly what I'm lecturing around the world now. From Taiwan to Vietnam to Brazil to the United States to Netherlands, Switzerland, Austria, and so on. And thanks to this conference, and thanks to the colleagues that organized this, I was able to confront something that I have just not been talking about for a long time. And I think that's another important message, is that we just need to bring everything that is bothering us on the light. We need to put the light on. And then we learned that Slovenian proverb, which says that the fear is hollow and there is nothing around it. It's really the case, right? It works. I came out of this experience stronger, wiser, and with a very clean karma. So I'm very grateful to life to give me this, and to be able to share it now with you. And hopefully, when you find yourself in situations like that, you will say, okay, it's normal. Yeah? I have to trust life, I have to trust friends, I have to submit my powers, and I have to move on. And that's my story. Thank you.